Hi everybody, it's Erin and we are going to do some planting today. Today we're specifically going to do about potatoes, and this is the bed that I'm going to do my planting in. Now, what I've done to help prep this particular bed, and these are just a raised garden, you can see my little shadow of my finger here, but we have a garden landscaping timbers. We have 3 high that we have embedded, and then we did put kind of a barrier, we meaning my husband and I, put kind of a barrier to help with the grass. And then because this was a new bed, we tore out the old one because it was starting to rot and we replaced it with the new one. We have started putting in our new soil. We don't just go buy dirt, we actually kind of make our dirt, quote unquote. So we start with mulching. We added in some dirt that was in the previous bed. We pulled it aside and put it in. We've also added in some grass clippings, and then we just kind of let it mulch within its place. We also add in some Epsom salts, which is the white that's in the top. And then we also have a vermicompost, which is the worm compost, and we put some of that in there along with some eggshells and some other things. So at this point, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my handy dandy little tool here, as you can see, and I am just going to start mixing it all up and getting everything kind of leveled out because they're in 2 big piles right now, and then also just kind of mix and get everything going. You can also see that we have a spray irrigation system that's going in right here. So this is the nozzle. You can see it kind of lining along the back of our fence that we actually have it hooked up to our hose. So when we turn it on, it sprays and we set our alarm and then we turn it back off. It's pretty easy. We don't have it set up to a timer. We could if we wanted to, but we don't. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prep my bed. All right, so I've leveled out all of the dirt, and as you can see, I just kind of leveled it all out, kind of stirred it up, mixed it all up, and it was dry on top, but inside it was still nice and kind of wet and good, and it'll get watered as soon as you can see my lovely little shadow there. You will see, we're going to spray it down in a minute. All right, so while we let the kind of get the dirt going, what we needed to do is we let it sit and kind of do its thing and mulch and compost and do its thing in the bed, letting the bed rest for probably the past 4 months. Just keep adding to it, mixing it, mulching it, turning it around. It's not 100% there, but it's good enough to kind of get the potatoes going. Alright, so what I have done is I have saved some potatoes in a couple of different ways. Some of the potatoes, whenever I have them, we're actually cooking them for dinner, I will cut off the sections that are starting to grow from my previous batch of potatoes. I will also save some of the smaller ones. This is what I call, this is a medium size to small, and it's already starting to grow, so I just leave it and then plant it just like this. Like some of these other ones you can see. This is from the previous harvest. So they're not really edible much anymore. They're starting to kind of get kind of wilty. They're doing a really good job of starting to grow. So all we have to do now is dig a hole and plant them in, and I will show you that. All right, so I've dug a hole that's probably about 1 foot deep. I've actually done a couple of holes, and I will space these out with my bed. I will do 3 holes going down, and then as many as I can go down this way to help get them all planted, and then just fill them in. And then pretty much all you do is you take your potato, you plop it in, and you want to place it so that the top of the potato, the part that's starting to sprout, pops right in here. Just as easy as that. Now, if you wanted to, let's say you have a potato that's kind of growing in 3 sections, you could actually cut this up so each one of these growths is a new planting piece that you actually put in. But I have so many potato pieces here that I'm just going to end up throwing this whole thing in and just done. I'm just leaving it like that. And then all you do is you just cover it up. Simple as that. Keep it watered, keep it going good. Potatoes take anywhere from 3 to 4 months to fully bloom, and as soon as it looks like the plant is dead, you're ready to harvest. So here's a potato plant that has just started popping out of the ground. As you can see, it's just got a little bit. I mean, if you look at my finger size, this thing is maybe about 2 inches tall. So that's what the beginning of the sprouting looks like once they pop out of the ground. Looks pretty cute. It's got some more time to go though. Let's wait and see what happens. Alright, so this right here is actually a potato plant. This is a stalk that has come through. The potatoes are actually under the ground. So this is what you would call a healthy potato plant. It has been growing for about 3 months now. As you can see, it's got quite a few, leaves coming off of it. The stalk is nice and thick. You can really see in there how big the stalk is, which is wonderful. When you know it's ready to be harvested is when the entire potato plant looks like it is dead. And then all you do is dig up the potatoes. Alright, so it's been a few months since we've come back and checked our potato, and here it is. It looks like it's just dead. I mean, it doesn't look like the potato when we first started right here. So all you gotta do now is you kind of come in right where the plant is and you start pulling it up. Now, we did have a freeze. So look, here's already one little potato. You never know. Sometimes I get giant potatoes, sometimes they're small. It depends on the batch that you first put in. It all kind of depends. Oh, see, here's a good one right there. Starting to get some good stuff. Just keep on kind of slowly digging them up. And there they are, right there. So I'm going to keep digging them up and I'll show you what they look like when we're done. So this is the hole that I ended up finished digging, and this is the base of what all the potatoes were kind of growing off of. You can see the original piece that was laid in there, and then all the rootstock. And then these are the potatoes that I just need to wash off. Now this wasn't a very big batch. This is actually what I call a very small batch, very small new potatoes. These aren't the big russets. These are supposed to be small red new potatoes, but usually I get a few more than this. It's always pot shot. Over here's the little guy that was growing that I think got hit with our freeze, and so we're just going to kind of check to see what is left in there. There might be a couple of little guys that are in there that are worth saving. So just digging in. Look, see? Even though that it froze, it still has a good potato that's in there. So I'm going to keep digging this one up. Oh, see, here's another guy. Now, somebody that's this small, I might save for the next time to replant come spring. And I think that's all we're going to get off that little plant. Nothing much else is in here. I'm digging around, but I don't see anything else that's in here. So I was able to generate a couple of them, which is great. Better than nothing. Now let's go check the other harvest of potatoes. All right, so here's the potato plants that we started back a few months ago. And now we are, I think it's been about 3 months now, at least 2, since they've been put in. And we've actually had a freeze, but they grew to a decent amount. Now this side of the bed has done a ton better than over here. And part of the reason why, as you can see, look at the sun. It's very, very shaded because just next to that, I have my tomato plants that the freeze killed. But they were overpowering and overshadowing it, and they just weren't able to grow. So a good shady plant would be perfect, but just the height of the tomatoes is just not giving too good for this side of the bed, unfortunately. But these potatoes over here, look, they went gangbusters. So we're going to dig them up and see what we get. So you could do 2 different things. You can use a shovel like this, or a claw, or you can just use a flat spade. You could also use your hands. It's kind of up to you. I'm calling these ready because they look like they're kind of dead. That's kind of when I realized that potatoes are ready. Now, you could go ahead and try and pull up, and you might get a couple that are attached. I mean, there's a couple of good ones there, as you can see. You can see them starting to grow off of there. And you know, if I let them go, we're going to have another freeze. They might do something, but I think I'm at the point where they're just going to be done. If they had some more time before they froze, I mean, just look at the leaves. They probably would have gotten bigger. So you kind of take a chance if you do a late harvest. And for Texas, we did a fall harvest, and I put them in, I believe, the end of September, early October. And we're now into the very end of December. So they've had a good 2 months, but a good 4 months would be even better. So I'm going to try and dig them up and see what we see. And you can just see them glinting in there. There's a couple of really good ones in there. So just kind of pulling them up. And I'm going to get some great little sweet potato, new potatoes, not sweet potatoes, sorry. New potatoes. So yummy. This was a harvest that's actually supposed to be quite small potatoes. Not this tiny. This is pretty puny. But, you know, a decent amount. And there's going to be even more as I dig them through. Now, you could save this bottom piece right here and replant this. This piece right here, you could replant this and see what happens. And I might do that. You know, sometimes I like volunteers. You never know what you're going to get. So dig them up. There's going to be a few more. So keep trying to pull up. Get your hands in there. I don't want to dig too hard with the shovel because I'm afraid I'm going to rip into a potato. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down and dig them up and see what we get. So here is the haul of my potatoes that I got, quite a few, and a couple of my sweet potatoes that I grabbed out of a different container. And thanks so much for stopping by, and don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you have a bountiful garden and you grow some amazing fruits and vegetables. Thanks so much for stopping by. Bye-bye.